out the second round because I ain't know how to spell juice. Like, bitch, I'm 6 years old. Does it look like I know how to spell juice?
What's up, folks? Willz.P here. So, don't underestimate the power of truth. And in order to speak what you might regard as the truth, you have to let go of the outcome and be willing to deal with the consequences no matter what they are. Those are the words of Dr. Jordan Peterson. You see, once your eyes have become open to what is really going on in this world, then you become much more of a pessimist to the average Joe. And every time you're talking to people, they typically going to find you to be, there's going to be a lot of challenge just talking to the average folk. And the reason for that is because they constantly trying to hide their own bias. Okay? And they don't really want to see things for what they are because it will actually disrupt their entire world. And you will often find yourself ending most of your conversation by saying pessimism of the intellect, optimism of the will. I think that's what it is. Pessimism of the intellect, optimism of the will. Why? Because you're going to realize that it's actually pointless to even waste energy on folk that actually does not deserve it because they want to remain oblivious to what is really going on around them. So just recently, W.A.P Monster herself went viral on the internet because she was listening to her own song when her daughter Culture walks in the room where she was listening to the song, and she quickly turned it off and play it off as if that's not what she was listening to. You see, there's like 100 different ways you can judge her, right? But for the purpose of this video, of the clip, I'm only going to say good parenting on her part. And don't get me wrong, by no means is she a role model because she cannot change who she is. And there's no way that, we can regard her as a role model. But by doing what she did, by turning off the music as her daughter walks in the room where she was at, it clearly shows that she has some types of regard for her daughter to not allow her 5-year-old daughter, I'm not sure how old she is, but I would say her 5-year-old daughter to not be listening to or downloading this inappropriate music, which is her own song. Now, I know a lot of people on the internet are saying that she's a hypocrite, and I don't think she's a hypocrite. I think you need to understand that these so-called people that we regard as role models, or simply that they are role models. They are playing a role in our society. They are not real models. You see, we have to understand there's a big distinction between real models and role models. I know for the purpose of dealing with people that we look up to, people that works ultimately for the establishment, okay? People that work literally or working for the purpose of influencing society to go in a direction that only serve the agenda of their masters. These people are not role models. They are not role models. They are simply people that are working to get the perks and get the money that's in it. Well, you can argue that they sell their soul, but that's a whole other conversation. But they are simply people that's working to get money and get the perks and get the fame that comes with it. but they're not. They understand that there is a big destruction that comes with the message that they put out. They understand that. They know it very well. And they don't allow their families to actually indulge in that too much. You see, for instance, the like Steve Jobs, may his soul rest in peace. He didn't allow his children to actually own an iPhone. You see, former CEO of Facebook did not allow his children to be on social media. You see, half of government officials rather, do not send their children to private school. Do you see the pattern? You see, the common denominator in all of this is that they are all in it for the money and the perks. But they understand the destruction that it comes with. They understand the detrimental effect that comes with indulging in all of these things. So they take precautionary measures. But to the average folk, that's not what happened. In fact, the opposite is what they do. Instead, they glorify that low-level thinking and behavior that keep them in a perpetual state of lack, so that they can continue to depend on a savior. You see, may that be the government, may that be Jesus. If they fall short of their expectation, they can always point the finger and blame someone else instead of blaming themselves for not taking initiative to actually raising their children and giving them some prestigious values that will actually serve them in the society that they will be a part of. I don't think I'm going to just, crucify her for doing that. I think what she did was an actual move, was actually a good move on her part. But I don't think that actually make her a good parent. I think she is who she is, and that's not gonna change. I just think what she did is something that a lot of the regular folk that actually support and listen to her music should actually take note and now, do the same thing. So if you wanted to know, if you wanted a sign rather, whether or not that song is inappropriate for your 5-year-old daughter to be listening to, well, look no further. Even the W.A.P monster herself knows that the song is inappropriate for her 5-year-old daughter to be listening to. Okay? So you can, instead of criticizing her and saying she's a hypocrite, maybe you should start doing the same thing, because it shouldn't take her to get you to actually to do that. But more often than not, if you're someone who probably subscribed to that song's, chances are a lot of time you allow your daughter to listen to it. And I'm not passing judgment, but I'm just speaking from what I've seen so far with my own 2 eyes, and that's likely to be the case. So I'm Willz.P, folks. Comment, like, and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. Cheers.